Imagine being so good at racing that one of the biggest teams in Formula One history looks at you, a teenager who can't even legally drive a normal car in his own country, and says, yeah, he's the guy who's going to replace a 7-time world champion. That's exactly what happened to Kimi Antonelli. And no, this isn't some rich kid who bought his way into the sport. This is a driver who was winning championships before most people his age had their first kiss. A driver so talented that Mercedes literally skipped him past an entire level of racing because they were scared someone else would steal him first. And in his very first season in Formula One, he's already broken records that stood for over a decade. This is the story of how a kid from Bologna became the most exciting young driver on the planet. Andrea Kimi Antonelli was born in August 2006 in Bologna, Italy. And before you ask, yes, his middle name is Kimi. No, he wasn't named after Kimi Räikkönen. A family friend just thought the name sounded cool with Andrea. Kind of funny how destiny works though, right? His dad, Marco, is a sports car racing driver who owns his own racing team. So Kimi grew up surrounded by the smell of burning rubber and the sound of engines. He first sat in a kart at 6 years old, and what happened next is genuinely insane. In his very first karting season in 2012 at a race in Italy, little Kimi, whose helmet was literally wider than his shoulders, put his kart on pole position against 55 other drivers and then won the final by 7 seconds. He was 6. By 7, he attended a summer camp run by the Italian Racing Federation, and a guy named Giovanni Minardi, yes, that Minardi, the family behind the legendary F1 team, spotted him and immediately signed him up. From that moment, Kimi's path to F1 was set. What followed was a karting career that reads like a cheat code. WSK Champions Cup, won it. South Garda Winter Cup, won it. ROK Cup International Final, won it. European Championship, won it twice, back to back. At 13 and 14 years old in the senior class, racing against guys way older than him, and here's the thing that made everyone in motorsport sit up. In 2019, Mercedes signed him to their junior program. He was 12 years old, the same program that developed George Russell. They saw something in this kid that they hadn't seen in a very, very long time. Antonelli's story gets completely ridiculous. Most drivers spend years grinding through the lower categories. F4, then F3, then F2, then maybe you get a shot at F1. It's a ladder, and everyone climbs it one rung at a time. Kimi? He took the elevator. In 2022, his first full season in cars, he entered both the Italian F4 and the German ADAC F4 championships simultaneously. He won 22 races out of 35 starts and took both titles. Oh, and on the side, he also won a gold medal for Italy at the FIA Motorsport Games and was winning races in the Italian GT3 series. The kid was 15, 2023, Formula Regional European Championship. He dominated it, won the Middle East Championship too, and at this point, everyone expected him to move to F3 next. That's the normal path. But Mercedes said no, they skipped him straight to Formula 2. They literally jumped him past an entire category of racing. Why? Because they were terrified that if they left him out there any longer, another team would figure out a way to poach him. Mercedes knew they had a generational talent on their hands, and they weren't about to let anyone else get near him. And then in F2, despite his team Prima struggling with a new car, Kimi still won 2 races, including an absolutely legendary wet weather move at Spa where he overtook Franco Colapinto going through Eau Rouge in the rain. If you haven't seen that clip, go watch it right now. It's one of the most insane overtakes in junior Formula history. Now let's talk about the moment everything changed. January 2024, Lewis Hamilton announces he's leaving Mercedes for Ferrari. The most successful driver-team partnership in F1 history is over, and suddenly the most valuable seat in the sport is empty. Toto Wolff could have played it safe. He could have signed Carlos Sainz or gone after Max Verstappen, experienced, proven champions. Instead, he looked at his junior program and bet everything on an 18-year-old who'd never driven in an F1 race. But first, they gave Kimi a taste. Monza 2024, Free Practice 1. His very first time in an actual F1 car at a Grand Prix weekend. And what happened? He crashed, massively, within minutes. He pushed too hard, lost the car at Parabolica and slammed into the barriers. The internet went crazy. He's not ready. Mercedes are making a mistake. This kid is going to be a disaster. But here's the thing everyone missed about that crash. Before he lost it, Antonelli was on a lap that would have been faster than Lewis Hamilton's best time, in an F2 driver's first ever session in an F1 car. The speed was already there. The raw pace was undeniable. The very next day, Toto Wolff walked into the Monza paddock and announced to the world, Kimi Antonelli will replace Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes in 2025. At 18 years old, he'd become the third youngest driver to ever start a Formula One Grand Prix. Netflix even made a whole documentary about it. The seat, it hit the top 10 in over 25 countries. This wasn't just a driver announcement, this was a cultural moment. Melbourne, round 1. Pouring rain, the most difficult conditions imaginable for a rookie's debut. 2 other rookies crashed out almost immediately. Kimi started 16th after a qualifying mishap, and somehow finished 4th. In his first ever Formula One race, in the rain. The kid was ice cold, but Melbourne wasn't a fluke. In Miami, he outqualified his teammate George Russell, a guy who's been in F1 since 2019, and took pole position for the sprint race. He became the youngest driver ever to take any form of pole in F1, beating Sebastian Vettel's record that stood for over a decade. Then in Japan, he became the youngest driver ever to lead an F1 race, and the youngest to set a fastest lap. Records that have been around since the sport began, and this kid was smashing through them like they were nothing. Canada brought his first podium, P3, and then it got real, because the middle of the season was brutal. A collision with Max Verstappen in Austria, a crash at Silverstone, a horrific weekend at Monza where he crashed in practice and then drove scared for the rest of the weekend. Toto Wolff had to sit him down and give him some tough love. Kimi himself said he started doubting himself. He was afraid he wouldn't be able to pull out of the slump. The pressure of being 18 years old, filling Lewis Hamilton's seat, with millions of people watching your every move, it got to him. But then came the reset. Starting from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, something clicked. Cleaner weekends, bigger points finishes, and in Brazil, P2, his best ever result. He also became the highest scoring rookie in F1 history, beating Oscar Piastri's record from just 2 years earlier. By the end of 2025, Kimi Antonelli had scored 150 points, 3 podiums, and finished 7th in the World Championship. As an 18-year-old, in his first season, replacing a 7-time world champion. Now, F1 has seen talented rookies before. Verstappen was special, Leclerc was special. But there's something different about Antonelli. Most young drivers are fast in one condition. They're great in the dry or they're great in the wet. Kimi is absurdly fast in both. His debut was in monsoon conditions and he was cutting through the field like the rain wasn't even there. His Spa move in F2 was in a downpour. This kid treats water like it's an advantage. He also has this mentality that's almost scary for someone his age. After his mid-season slump, he told motorsport.com that he reset and decided to approach every race with what he called a killer mentality. This is an 18-year-old talking like a veteran who's been through wars, and the personal details make him even more likable. He's an obsessive NBA fan. His pre-race ritual involves Macklemore. He chose the number 12 because of his idol, Ayrton Senna. He passed his actual driving test just 6 weeks before his F1 debut, and Mercedes gave him an AMG GT63S as a gift, but he's not allowed to drive it in Italy because it's too powerful for new license holders. The irony of an F1 driver who can't legally drive his own road car is just peak comedy. And here's why all of this matters right now. 2026 is coming. Brand new regulations, brand new cars. A completely level playing field where every team starts from scratch. And Kimi Antonelli goes into that new era with a full season of F1 experience under his belt, driving for a team that has dominated regulation changes before. He's already contracted with Mercedes through 2026. He's been testing the new car on the simulator, and he said himself he can't wait. The difficult moments of 2025 didn't break him, they built him. F1 has its next superstar, and his name is Kimi Antonelli. If you want to see more stories like this about the next generation of F1 drivers, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning.